Yes, we've got John Cartwright on from Hartlepool College. Now, I met John about, I'm going to say 3 years ago, a Constructing Excellence event, and you were talking, and it was all about construction, further education, and I'm just like, I like that guy. That's literally what I said in the room. And we had a quick chat. You wouldn't have known I was thinking this at the time.
In Newcastle.
It was in Newcastle.
Yeah, it's come back to me now.
Yeah, at the big event. And
when you say he was talking, he was like on stage talking, or just like earwigging into his conversation?
No, I think he did a piece on stage. And it was about getting students into construction, and it was just good. And anyway, it's been sat for a while, and I literally reached out and I was like, John, you got to come on our podcast. And you accepted.
No, thank you. I'm honoured.
I really appreciate it. But look, there's loads to talk about that. Construction, students getting into construction, the shortfall, loads of stuff. But as always, we're going to go back your journey of how you ended up being at Hartlepool College.
Way back. So, I think when I was at school, I didn't have any aspirations of being in construction. I wanted to be a physiotherapist, so my work experience, because in the good old days you could do work experience, that's a thing that sort of gets missed by some schools. So I did my work experience at Hartlepool United, and everybody seems to think I was going to be a footballer, but no, I wanted to be a physiotherapist. So my aspirations at school, and I was probably in the top set or second set at school, did really, really well. I'm not saying that school failed me, but I left school with nothing. I left school with no grades. I picked up a couple of qualifications, but when I chose my options in year 3, that's old money, now it's year 9, when you pick your options, I chose, I like languages, so I picked German, and I got put in a class, I think it was 4 of the guys and 15 girls, and sort of mucked about and carried on, and my qualifications, you're writing on people's arms and drawing on people's necks, and it was that level of carrying on, and I think that didn't set me in good stead for past me qualifications. So leaving school, I said to my pal one day, what are you going to do when you leave school? And he said, I'm going to be a brickie. And I went, that sounds like an amazing idea. Didn't know where they lived, didn't know how much they earned, didn't know where didn't know what they'd done. And I applied for a CITB, did a CITB test, want to be a CITB apprentice. And these guys are still kicking around now, the CITB. And I was one of the lucky ones, and I got an apprenticeship for a small local company in Hartlepool, and it was just that was amazing. Went to Hartlepool College as a bricklaying apprentice, a building that's closed down now. We had a building called Lister Street, but in that building it was an amazing facility. We had plumbers, brickies, joiners, we had a bit of all sorts, and I was on an apprenticeship program, and although I worked for a small builder, and I loved my time as a small builder, I was with made some great friends, still friends with some pals now. They'd work for like big building companies, or big housing companies, should we say, and they were building houses day in, day out. They were laying bricks day in, day out, and I wasn't doing that as a bricklaying apprentice. And I was doing things like a bit of tiling, a bit of patch plastering, concrete, and a bit of roofing, a bit of repointing, a bit of all sorts. And I wouldn't change my time because I'd say I was more of a builder. These guys were bricklayers, just laying bricks all the time. And I think if I had my time now, I wouldn't change that. But a bricklaying qualification now, or bricklaying apprenticeship standard, wouldn't lead itself to me getting that qualification, because you've got to get so many things. It's predominantly aimed at a bricklayer. Where, as I've said, I could be labouring, I could be up and down ladders, I could be fetching and carrying in the good old days. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Went to college like on a block release, then a day release. And during my apprenticeship, I was just, I had aspirations of doing things better and being things better, and, recharging myself and trying to aspire to be better than a bricklayer. The boss acknowledged that, and I was lucky that he said, come to our house on a night, I'll show you how to do some estimating. So I did some estimating with him on a night, and I think he recognised that I didn't want to be a bricklayer all the time, and although I like being on the tools and like being with people and organising people, and so he's given me little bits of responsibility. And there was just different careers that opened up to me, because I thought, I like that estimating side of things. And I stuck at that, and he, credit to him for looking after me and, giving me that little bit. But, that was on a night, and he used to go and it's a bit of estimating, but during the day it was still back to the grind and, get that job. And no matter how fast you got the job done and how quickly you got the job done, you'd still be, can you get that done quicker? Can you get that done? And then I'm going to say about 25-year-old, I seen a job advertisement for an assessor, and this was for a company called Carillion. Clearly not with us anymore, but they used to be called Tarmac and Tarmac Construction, and they had a variety of centres in and around the country. So there was like one at Heathrow, there was one in Gateshead, there was one in Middlesbrough, and they wanted to set one up in Sunderland. So I took the step away from the construction industry, sort of, not being on the tools, and I took the step into education. And 26 years later, I'm still in education.
Oh, it's an amazing story.
So he's an assessor. What? So you like training sort of the skills?
Used they didn't have a lecturer. They weren't called lecturers, but basically you would have a group of students in the workshop, and you'd have a group of students in the classroom, and you just call your assessor. So you did an assessor program, and you had to work. It's still a similar type of thing now, but assessors predominantly now is either on site doing on site assessments or in the workshop doing like a demonstrate and then assess the candidates. And so we didn't call them a Carillion at the time, didn't call them a lecturer. So I did that for a couple of years, and then I progressed to be a centre manager. So I was centre manager at Sunderland. Again, lovely people. You miss the construction industry, you miss the camaraderie, you miss the laugh, you miss the carry on, you miss the fun and games. But in the construction education, what I love is that you're growing the next generation, and you're supporting them learners into, or you're transforming their lives to go out there and earn a crust in there, whether they're going to be a joiner or whether they're going to be a brickie or a painter. And I love my time at Carillion. I absolutely love my time at Carillion. Then an opportunity came up, my first time at Hartlepool College, to be a lecturer. And I thought, if I'm ever going to do things differently, or going to try and progress my career, I need to have a go at further education. It's great working for a training provider, and there's a place there for training providers, and I love that. And some learners are more suited to a training provider environment than suited to colleges, because there's not as many distractions, should we say? But I love my time at Carillion. Then I went and came to Hartlepool College for a couple of years. Then I went to be head of construction at Sunderland College. So a couple of years at Hartlepool as a lecturer. Loved that. Loved my time. And then the lure of Hartlepool and my town and doing things in my town. That's when I moved back there about 10 years ago. So I went back there as head of construction, which is amazing. It was an amazing opportunity for me to not turn down and jump at the chance that and lead a construction team within your own town. It's just amazing feeling.
Fair play. We don't need them qualifications. I say this all the time, every episode. My first job, walked out of school, no qualifications.
Cut that.
Straight to McDonald's.
Yeah.
But do you know what though? It's we put so much pressure on, don't we, of people getting qualifications, and sometimes it's just persistence, determination, drive. I know that not everyone has these, and. But
there's still it's aspirations, isn't it? And it's sort of these qualifications where you sit at a desk and be academic, but there's also vocational qualifications. So
life
I think there's always that it's just benchmarking so that you've been through a process. I find that's it's like a degree. Everyone think there's so many degrees in different things, but it's having that benchmark so that you've been through a process, that you've done your training, you've done your dissertation, you've done your examinations, and it's that life experience of being able to go into the world and write reports or make decisions when they come to you. But
I think like you we're not proud of leaving school with nothing.
No, by the way, I'm not saying that. Yeah, absolutely.
Cheerleader over here. Yeah,
Lee's just made sure that he's pulled us back in
right
there,
in his place. I know.
No, I think further education has transformed my life. It's given me the opportunity to go and get them qualifications that, I did a master's 5 years ago because I wanted to prove my academic ability and say, I can actually put a structured dissertation. But leaving school with nothing, my aspirations of being a physio gone because, I didn't get them grades, didn't get them qualifications, and flunking them, then it ain't great. But having the opportunity to go out there and do something different, and then, just work hard, and I think I want to be a role model to these learners who's coming out there and think school isn't for everybody. My wife's a primary school teacher, and I pick a lot of teaching and delivery and ideas from her, because she'll get a learner at 3, 4, 5-year-old. She'd learn to stand up and share. You've got this as a dad of 2 young children. Share and care and be nice. And then in secondary school, there's too many distractions. The learners, hormones are changing and things like that. And then they come to us and we've got to learn them again. The secondary school do an amazing job, but it is tough. There's lots of things around them that's a bit of a distraction. They come to us and again, what secondary schools try to do is share and care, be nice, stand up straight, communicate with people, and that is tough. So a lot of learners come to us. A lot of learners come in the construction industry, and I think it still stereotypically gets that message across. You're big and daft, you go into construction. But stereotypically, that's what some people are pushing that way. But we've got some really, really top-end jobs and top-end learners that are leaving school with them great qualifications and great grades, and they go, what can I do now? What can you do? And there's loads of inspirational jobs out there within the construction sector. And that's why I love construction, because jobs change all the time, and creating new careers and new job roles all the time. And there's opportunity for everybody out there. And my job is to try and make, well, not just my job, but it's everybody's job, try and make construction a bit more sexy for the learners to leave in school to go, I want to be that. Male or female, let's come into the industry and let's move and shape. And
do you still think there's, so in further education, do you think there's still quite a lot of stigma in regards to different subjects? Because I remember at school and college and uni that, like you said, they used to have that stigma around, like, you went into certain professions because you couldn't do something else or do this, or like going to do like civil sort of service, like going in the army or going this something. It's always been quite a stigmatic, you only go in there because you can't do that or you can't do this. But I don't think it should be like that, should it? It should be like it's more personal choices. And
I think I think all the students though put that on themselves, don't they? Because from our angle, there isn't, but there is. They're all in the little cliques about who's going to do what.
Buzzwords, isn't it?
And then they're like, they're doing that because of that. They're doing that because of that. But
there's no drive, is there, though? I think, like I say, from government down, sometimes it's just, I know they're trying to do it, but it's just not enough pull on certain...
We need more influencers out there in construction.
Like you.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're the cheerleader for it, though.
But I think all sort of construction and them sort of vocational
But it
things,
is, the learners, the most popular courses at the college at this moment in time is, you're looking at bricklaying, you're looking at electricians, because the influencers on TikTok, guys waking up on a morning, they've got £20 notes surrounded by the name of bricking. I'm going to go out on site, I'm going to work half a day, and it's like
great. Waking up on a bed of money.
It is better money. I think that we need a lot more. I think if you look at advertisements that's on the telly, you've got the armed forces there, they'll push that, but we don't do enough of that, on the telly. And construction's got a serious skills shortage. It's all over there. I'm sick of seeing the same stats all the time. And we're just trying to support the next generation come through to grab hold of that baton and then lead construction line for us to try and support us in growing forward. Got all these amazing projects that are ready to start nationally, especially in around the region where I live in Teesside. Got £4 billion net zero projects going on. We've got £1 million infrastructure projects going, infrastructure projects going on. Loads of housing, loads of development, loads of redevelopment. And it's just,
wind turbines everywhere.
Gigafactories.
Yeah.
We've got that much exciting work going on. We haven't got the manpower to do. We haven't got the sustainable staffing.
Yeah.
That's, people need to get involved. And I'm going out there, I'm shouting as much as I can. So hopefully we'll get this pushed around.
I was going to say, you've been involved with construction for a while, but you changed a role a little bit, didn't you, to head of business growth and skills? So was that more broader then? Were you then such a cheerleader and like influencer that the college looked and thought, John,
you've seen them pictures of me as a cheerleader.
Can you go and actually represent us all? Is that what was that change of role then?
Yeah, I think the college did acknowledge that just people buying into the construction team and people buying into what we got going on, and we brought a lot of employers into the college, and we've grown substantially the construction and the built environment sector, and the learners that we've got coming in was brilliant. So the opportunity came for me as head of business growth and skills. I've been doing that for a year now, and I love it. It's different for me, going out, different environments. For example, this morning, I know it's, albeit it is in construction, I've just did a talk with a group of guys who were in the housing sector and the gas auditors. So I've just had a chat with them this morning, just bringing a bit of business into college, and they've got an event going on there. Yesterday, I was at Hartlepool Hospital. We've got, in partnership with the NHS, Ward 10. So they've got like a training academy over there, and it's just had some obviously dummies lying in the beds, and these are simulated so they can move, they can breathe, they can, all these things. And then, for example, speaking with the scaffolding company on Monday, last week across the airport, we've got a big contract with an organisation that was spraying and stripping off aeroplanes. It's just brilliant, just really exciting for me to get out there and diversify my skills and see what's going on in the sector, and just try and give our learners the opportunity and telling them what's going on out there, as opposed to just
linking it all up. You're the link, you're finding the link, but everything still seems to still fit into construction of some sort. Is that right?
Not everything's construction. Obviously, the NHS, that's health and care suite, that's going on in there. But I keep bringing it back to construction. I get my construction fixes by talking about today, working on the board of Construction Excellence. And I say everybody, I am lucky by getting involved with organisations like Construction Excellence, and I provide the academic voice. When you've got all construction people around the table and they're talking about what they're up to and what they're doing and how they can grow, and I chirp in with the academic voice and say, you need to grow this and you need to get people involved. And that's how I get my fix, going out and meeting employers in the construction sites. It's, I still get my construction fix. I can't, my family and my kids are sick of me. If I'm driving down the street and somebody's got to skip on the drive, and who's working there, and can we...
You're not bin dipping.
No, skip rats, I'm not doing that.
My construction fix.
I could use that.
Who's on there? Have they got an apprentice with us and what they're doing? And it's... you cut me in half. We've had this conversation, cut me in half, and I am construction and education, and we've mentioned football through and through. So I want to know what people's doing. I know why they're doing it, how long it's going to take, and what skills is needed. And I want them to buy into the college, and I want them to come to us to showcase what they're doing and talking about their careers, to inspire our learners, because we one of the we're in the 10th most deprived area in the country. And we want our learners to aspire to be, the next business manager, the next, construction manager, the next QS, the next civil engineer, planner, civil engineer, whatever it takes to get them out there. So we want to expose them to the world of work out there, and that the only way we can do that is by getting people coming in and having a chat.
Going doing stuff. Do you know what? It's true, that, isn't it? It's like, you do get I wish I had a stronger interest in stuff in when I was younger. It's like, per example, yesterday I was walking past the back of the station, York Station. Obviously, it's a huge redevelopment in York, where the
who's doing that?
I don't even know.
So there you go.
McLaren,
straight into that.
It's McLaren Construction.
But what they're doing is they were dealing with the road, the infrastructure around there, and the National Railway Museum, and they basically had this what's a garbage truck then? I'm not American. Dustbin lorry.
You'll be watching too much.
And they had this tube, and obviously they were digging in the road, and it was just like this vacuum, just vacuuming bits up and just sort of like sorting through stuff. And I was like, stood there for ages. I was like fully stopped, just watching this thing. I was thinking, this is amazing. It's like watching these people walking past, like, going, what is this guy doing? Studying like a loser. And there must have been about 8 operatives, we'll say, stood around watching this thing, going, thinking, God, it's doing all their work for them now. They're just actually doing it.
So I get excited about that.
I was trying to get a better look.
Somebody was doing that in my street.
Yeah.
And basically, they were just taking a couple of paving stones up. They were digging down. There was like a base main. Yeah. But basically, we just had it like in the good old days. I'd have had a spit. I'd have had a pick. I'd have had a shovel. I'd have had a wheelbarrow. I'd just be throwing the rubbish on the back of a van. But it's like an elephant's trunk. Yeah. It'll go down there and it'll just vacuum everything up. So you've got somebody just loosening it up with a pick, and then somebody wears hair on your back. That elephant's trunk is just sucking everything up and then expose the pipe. And then you get a guy down there and then they'll do the repair. Oh, I get excited at that type of stuff.
I know. I was like really like, one of the moments where normally I'd just like headphones in, walk into somewhere, I was like, She's like quite intuitive,
and
really.
that's how you inspire them, though, isn't it? At that age,
seeing that,
to look at it.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
tech.
I think that's this generation is like, you need to have the tech there to keep the attention span. If you said, "Oh, there's a hammer and a bolt sort of thing," it's like, what? We don't have some sort of machine I can use to sort of chip away at that. So maybe that is the future. I've been trying to have more tech.
But it's what you like. My son works for an organisation, and they've got a guy who will just, he'll pilot a drone. So what do you do with a drone? Well, go and do a land survey. In the good old days, you chain or tape measure or But
theodolite, if you're lucky.
Absolutely, but he'll have a drone, and then that drone, that topo survey will feed into some kit, and then that'll tell us what's going on, how the contours of the land, that type of stuff. But then again, the drone can also be used if there's repairs that need carried out on a roof. Instead of getting a guy to go up there on a ladder and do a check for got a leak in the roof, that drone will go up, it'll save some time, it'll do a survey of that roof and find out what's going on. Then them surveyor can come back and they can watch it safely from the ground or safely from an iPad. Oh, smashing there, we've done a survey of the roof, we've found out where the leak's coming from, but we haven't sent somebody up, a young girl up there on a triple extension ladder, and they're rattling away, and it's risk, it's all that type of stuff. That's just tip of the iceberg. But we do get involved in organisations. So if people's worked at the college as long as me, they're not getting that kick, they're not getting that fix, they're not getting that engagement in what's going on site. So we need them people from industry, and we do things like digital swaps, or we do called industry insights, where then people from industry will come into the college and do a talk and tell people what's going on, and help them shape the curriculum, help them design the curriculum, and help them, make sure that we're using cutting edge information. Yeah, we're still going to need bricklayers, we're still going to need plumbers, still going to need joiners, but we also need BIM coordinators. We also need retrofit coordinators. We also need, drone operators. And that information is absolute. It's gold dust to our learners and staff to keep them informed of what's going on in the sector.
Are you, as a college, then, do you only do so many kind of sectors, or is the college quite broad on its topics? Do you do everything?
Yeah, we've got 7 schools within the college, so
right.
I'm going to remember all these now. So we've got service industries, which is your hospitality, catering, sport, public services, hair and beauty. We've got healthcare and education. We have professional creative studies. We have engineering, which is advanced manufacturing engineering, and we also have fabrication, welding, process, and automotive, and transport. So we've got aerospace at the college. We've just go up and we'll do things if somebody comes to us with a bit of a niche, bit of an idea that they would like to do and like to run. Then, and there's a demand out there, we will support them. So we've got a vast area, and then in addition we've also got SEND. So we have the School of SEND, special education needs, and alternative provision. So learners who don't fit into mainstream school will come and do our alternative education programs. Learners who have that disabilities or they have an additional needs, then they also fit in the School of SEND. But them learners still also need to be exposed to the world of work, what goes on out there. So we've just done a recent presentation with these learners, and it was amazing. It was really humbling. So I brought a couple of employers in from industry, amazing, to support the college. And the learners got up there and just talked about their careers and where they would like to go in their career. But it was a little avatar that they had on the screen, and they talked about their strengths and their qualities, and I'm good at communication, and really humbling. But these learners need that opportunity out there. And when I'm speaking to some learners in the college and they've left school with nothing, but then they turn around and go, I'm no good at maths and English, I'm never going to get a job, John. And it breaks your heart, but there's a job out there for everybody. There's an opportunity out there for everybody. And I just want to make sure that they get the exposure that they need. They get the opportunity that they need. We support them as much as we can. We hold their hand in the workplace till they get that, the feet under the table, and then they can go and grow. And some of the employers that we're working out there with have a great mentorship scheme. And obviously I mentioned Rebecca, I listened to her and talking about mentorship. And if you go out there in the world of work, I was lucky. I worked with a guy who, I got battered around didn't get battered, got pushed around in the workplace. And, some people don't want to take that apprentice on. Some people don't want to grow and shape that learner, and they haven't got time because they haven't got, time is money, and I haven't got time to show you how to lay bricks to a line or do some repointing. And I got put with a guy who I kept in touch with all his life. He passed away not so long ago, but I still cherish the time when he showed me how to do things and he supported me, and he was a brilliant, brilliant guy to me, you know, cared for me, looked after me, and he made sure that he had his arm around me and he looked after me and developed me. And some people don't have that, but some of the amazing people that we have, some amazing employees that we work with out there, just get the arm around the learner and shape and grow and support them without just going, there you go, crack on. And if they make a mistake, then, you know, oh yeah, you'll be all right. But yeah, of course you'll be all right. And we just want to make sure that the learners go out there because it's a big, scary world. And what we want to try and make sure that they're doing is that they go out there and they know how to deal with customers. They know they've got the filters on and they can't, you know, F and Jeff when it comes to working with the customers or the clients and making sure that they turn up on time and they work ready and they have that good attitude, because some people just think that they've got a mobile phone glued to the hand or they've got a vape glued to the other hand, and we're just trying to get all them soft skills to make sure that they do stick out there in the workplace. Do
you know, that's what I thought. As soon as when you were talking about your sort of earlier years in construction, I was like, what a leader that guy sounds, your boss. He was like sort of
look, he's created the next leader. I would have loved to
pop round, do some extras. Yeah.
A brilliant picture of my apprenticeship.
Yeah. It's just, but why do you think it? Because you hear it a lot, don't you? You hear it a lot with people who are like, oh, I'm an apprentice, I'm looking for an apprenticeship. And like every small employer is just like, nah.
Not a chance, yeah.
Not a chance.
Yeah.
I've tried it, I've been bitten, or I've done this, and I haven't got the time, as you say. How do we... Because you could have the most ultimate professional, well-spoken person, well-mannered, well-educated apprentice, but they're sort of getting pigeonholed by this tag of apprenticeship and tarnished by the same brush where they've had bad experiences. How do we get around that? It's
a great point. It happens all the time, doesn't it? Like,
especially in construction.
I spoke to a plumbing contractor. Their plumbing contractors are brilliant for apprentice, but this one plumbing contractor who I spoke to said, "Oh no, I ain't got the time." And to be honest, the ones that I've brought on have just not given the energy that we need. So that's their experience done. It almost is like, what is that it now?
Saloon,
one chance saloon. They're busy. You're absolutely right though, but they fall into this bucket of, apprenticeships. I've got to do one just so I'm doing the right thing, rather than doing it because they want to do it. That's a big job of your end, isn't it, to actually try and level it up, I guess.
It's a tough ask. You know, I get that these guys or girls who are running companies, they go out there all day, they're working all day, they come home on a night, they want to see the kids, they want to have the tea, then they'll get the laptop open and they'll maybe be tendering for work or pricing up for work, or they're going to be submitting. The last thing that they want to do is go, I need an apprentice. I really, I've just had my tea, I've just had, sausage and chip. I really want, I get that. But there is some people, a lot of SMEs out there and a lot of micro businesses want to do it because it's the right thing to do. And I think we've got some big boys out there, some huge tier one contractors, and they're not investing in skills. And they're the ones who should be, because they'll have a levy pot there and they'll have some money to spend. If they don't spend that money, they're going to lose it. And they should be investing in skills, but they're not investing in skills.
See, I thought that would be the case. I thought the bigger tier ones, tier twos were propping up that market where they had that availability to be able to have a few apprentices on at one time, because they can, like I say, be left to their own device a little bit and have the time. Whereas like the smaller SMEs and the micro businesses are so hands-on that they can't afford or justify it. Well, they can probably afford it, but they can't justify the time and investment to that individual. Yeah. But I find it hilarious that at the same time, salaries are going up. All trade salaries are going up. It's just like, it's every time you speak to them, they want £300 a day, they want £400 a day, they want £500 a day, all these things. I'm saying, well, surely, so you don't want to pay for someone who's like qualified what you want because of the price, but then at the same time you don't want to pay the smaller price because of the time and lack of experience a person has. Yeah. It's like you're not going to find the happy medium, are you?
And I get that, because if you're a small business, apprenticeship salary now, maybe it's £300 a week, $8.55 an hour, and you think, up to £300 a week. They've got to think, if it's a one-man band, they've got to think that I've got to get that £300, ready for the start of the week. So I want to pay that guy's or girl's wages.
Yeah.
So they've got to make that money, that £300, before they even start doing anything. So I know that puts some SMEs off because it's a big pull-out. When I was apprentice, it was £29.50 where I started on many months ago. Then I went up to 35 and I thought, I'm in the money now. But,
an hour.
Yeah. But I think that there's funds, there is grants available, and I think what some employers want though is they want the person, as soon as they take them on, they're going to be making money, they're going to be laying bricks to a line, they're going to be going out there and installing boilers or rewiring. And that doesn't happen. In the first year, they expect them to be passing the tools and making the tea and cleaning the van out and doing them things. That's what most apprentices do. If you're exposed to the real wide world, then I think that's fantastic. And you're doing things, that's great. But in reality, you're going to be fetching and carrying, you're going to be up and down, you're going to be doing it. Especially the manual trades. The guys and girls who we have, who apprentices who are working in the offices, the technical and professional roles, they'll be doing small jobs, they'll be doing small tasks, they'll be doing, I'm talking to my son, he's ordering skips, or he's dealing with, some clients and contractors, and he's doing little bits and bobs like, which is great exposure to him, rather than, we can't give you anything because we don't trust you. He's getting exposed to that level of work. But some of the learners just go out there and we want to say to the employer, just don't expect anything from a year. They expect them to be making the tea.
Is there funding pots for SMEs to tap into to take on apprenticeships? So we'll use you, as an example. We always use Lee as an example. It's brilliant.
A bad one.
Yeah. Obviously,
bad example.
But you've got a great business, and it's What can you do? Is there pots?
There is, I sort of see for surveying and professional services. We've supported some college-based academic sort of pupils with some fixed time release where they might have so many hours, so they maybe come 2 days a week. I think they want to come 1 day a week, and I refused. I said no, I can't. You can't justify getting something done and it going in 1 day a week. I think it needs to have like a 2 days where you maybe do a bit of academic practice and then a bit of more practical the next day, so that it's sort of compounded. Then when you do the rest of the week, whatever they're doing back at school, I think it's very hard to sort of.
So then, actually, no, I think you're making a point here. It's a 1 day a week is almost let's get it done, because it looks like we're doing the right thing. Yeah. But what you're saying is it's irrelevant. You might as well not do it at all. No. And I think that's really important, isn't it? That we've got that maybe broken system of what actually is required to what we think is required, if that makes sense.
I think some employers are happy with a block release or double day or day release. It depends on what they've got on. They'd rather have the learner missing for 1 day than they can pencil in that work in and around, especially if it's fetching and carrying. Yeah. I'm not going to pencil that work in that day because it's Wednesday, the learner's on day release. But in terms of block release, that's also, we can get more done in that block release because we can give them in some intense delivery. But I think you're a building surveyor. I think that's a 1 day a week, and that's over 2 year period. For a level 3, you'll do a construction and built environment qualification in college, then you'll do an apprenticeship standard. But again, there's a frustration for me that gone are the days when I'd go and do a test in the college and you'd get signed off. Now we have an endpoint assessment organisation that will come in and see that learner for a snapshot and make a decision on whether that learner deserves to pass or not. And that could be detrimental to the industry because some of the learners have failed that endpoint assessment, failed that snapshot. But that's how the apprenticeship qualifications go now.
Which it takes us on, I think, nicely on to, a couple of years ago when we were speaking about falling numbers of people getting into construction. It's obviously not getting better. We keep having this, we're losing, so we're not getting enough people in. Yeah. Where are we? I mean, do you look at the numbers? Where are we at the moment?
Where are we? We've still got, the magic number of 223,000 employers short in the construction sector. That's what we need to build infrastructure, houses. But in terms of learner numbers coming into colleges, bursting at the seams. learners do really want to come on a bricklaying programme, do want to be civil engineers, they want to be ground workers. Busiest courses in the college at this moment in time, bricklaying and electrical, because they've heard how much they can earn. But so we have the two different. But we have the
shallowness of it.
Yeah, we're building surveyor as well. Yeah, I know. There's a guy who I used to do a lot of work with, a building surveyor, Dean Starkey. Great guy, but he'll be earning a fortune now because you guys are earning a fortune. What we try, Mike's gone there, but no, I think. There's a lot of money to be earned out there. What we find in colleges, we find it hard to attract staff. So the funding that we get in colleges is circa 10% less than what it was in 2010. So for us to attract staff in to be an electrical lecturer or be a plumbing lecturer or be a groundwork lecturer is really difficult. And that's the problem up and down the country. So I mentioned I did my master's 5 years ago. My dissertation was on the staffing crisis in education. So I went round there and I interviewed the principal, interviewed the HR manager, I interviewed some employers out there. And some of the employers I spoke to asked about what it's like for them attracting people. And they find it hard to attract people because if they might, have a great system of attracting people, they pay a good salary. But for example, if somebody down the road's offering 50 pence an hour more, then they're going to jump and do that. But there's loyalty bonuses in the industry. So bricklayers, really, really hard. The signs up all over the northeast. We need bricklayers. We urgently need bricklayers. Them signs have been there for years. But they pay £1,000 loyalty bonus for a squad to stay on that site. So you haven't even picked your trowel up. And you're getting £1,000 between a squad to stay on that site. But in terms of us attracting learners we fall on all over learners. Every college up and down the country, because what normally happens, the construction industry, if that's rising and that's, there's loads of work and loads of things happening, the education construction just follows that behind. So if that goes over, we still recruiting, and we've got to cap in the construction industry. We've got to cap learners coming through the door for the courses that they want to come on, because we can't get the staff to deliver them courses.
Yeah.
So it's sad in a way, but we, like I say, the funding does not help us out in terms of attracting staff.
So the problem then isn't the intake. There's lots of intake. It's this middle piece here that we just don't have the infrastructure to the delivery.
Yeah.
So that's why you're having to lean on businesses to maybe then take the load off.
Yeah.
Because if you can then spread out to 100 different businesses that are helping you, you're almost a central spot, aren't you? To then go, that's our market. So we've got a bottleneck, mate. We have a bottleneck in the system, don't we?
Always one.
Always a bottleneck. We love bottlenecks.
We don't love them.
No, we don't love them, but they're always there.
They're always there.
So the positive news is, the message getting out there is we've got lots of people wanting to come into construction, want to, choose that as a career, because it is a really exciting career out there. I still keep saying it's an exciting career, but we've still got quite a few employers out there who daren't dip the toe in the water in terms of an apprenticeship because they maybe see it as a hassle, maybe he's had that bad experience. And when you look at the success rates for apprenticeships nationally, is round about 60%. That's just gone up, that from round about 53%, 53.4%, gone up to just above 60%, which isn't great. We're saying 6 out of 10 kids, they're not sticking, they're not going out, they're not getting that job that they've come into. We're above that at Hartlepool College because we are an outstanding college in terms of apprenticeships. I just thought I'd get that in.
Yeah, absolutely. Get it in.
Get some get bum. But I think that, we need to make sure that we're getting that success rate up nationally. And nationally, apprenticeship rate 60%. That ain't good.
So for every 10 are coming on, 6 are dropping, leaving 4 to go through the system.
No, 6 are staying.
60%
achievement rate. 4's dropping off. So I'm giving you 10 guys to come and work for you. You're only going to keep all the 6 of them. The other 4 aren't going to.
It's going to disappear to do something else.
Or nothing.
And that's not good.
No.
We need to do more as a sector for that. Awarding bodies who are the endpoint assessment organisations who are getting them to, rubber stamping them learners with a qualification, making sure that they need to look at that and
Is it a fear factor, do you think, for people to become trainers and lecturers and sort of like teachers? Because I think I'd be quite positive if you say in my business that I had like 2 sort of seasoned or experienced members staff said, you know what, I wouldn't mind doing like an afternoon of lectures or training for like in colleges or something like that. I'd probably support it, but there's got to be incentive there to cover their time, I guess. Is that a possibility? Because it's sometimes like I remember at university lecturers that normally 3 days a week they're doing some work, they're doing 3 days a week doing some lectures, then 2 days a week they're doing a bit of a cash in hand work or some sort of like freelancing.
He thinks it's a jolly, doesn't he? First of all, I don't think Dan would be happy if I took you away for a couple, but yeah, there's opportunities all the time. And
but that's a
do they look
point.
at that though? Do they try and encourage more of that special?
Call a VL, like a visiting lecturer. That will
Is it a visiting lecturer, right?
And colleges up and down the country will have that and will utilise that. We want sector experts coming in. We want people who's the chalk face in industry to come and be a visiting lecturer. And that would be.
You in, mate? You in? He's pulling him in. I need him on the podcast, John.
Pull from pillar to post.
But we want that, and that's how some people get into it. If they're I don't know, plumbing and heating, for example, they've got their own business. I wouldn't mind dip me toe in, but I don't want to dip me toe in too much. I'll do 4 days where I'm out there, I'm installing boilers, and 1 day where I'm gonna come and have a go, just doing some practical work in the workshop, just ease them in gently. But absolutely, we're looking for people up and down the country to come and do that. And
how would you search? How would you find them people? Because like normally you think a lecturer's like there full time, or a teacher's there full time. How would you sort of approach that with people? Is it like a recruitment mission, or what's the?
We've done some things with our HR manager, and we've had some open events where you can come in and you can have a walk around the classroom, or you can have a try, you can have a go at standing in front, and it's not everybody's cup of tea. It's it is daunting, stood in front of a group of 16-year-old learners who you're chomping at the bit to just be like a sponge, want that information off you, want that knowledge off you. And, it is tough, but I always say that when I used to do the interviews for staff who was just brand new in, I'd say, you're going to take on a variety of different roles. You're going to be a mum, you're going to be a dad, you're going to be a mentor, you're going to be a best mate, you're going to take on all, as well as a lecturer, as well as assessor, as well as a trainer, and you're going to take on all these roles. And that's not scaring people, but a learner might come and divulge something to you that it's going on in their personal life. You've got to take that on. Obviously, with safeguarding, we would use our learning and development coaches that'll go and help the learner with the welfare. And learners will come in and bring an awful lot of issues with them or challenges that they've got in their personal life, and they'll pour that out to you. Some people don't want to take that on, and some people, when they find out that they've got to do that, and that is just they will pour that out to you. And what am I going to do about that now? He's just
It's a great point, that, because you don't ask for it, do you? It just appears. So obviously, even though it's been dealt with, you're taking it home with you. All of a sudden, something's going on.
Put yourself in a position.
So
to
now
trust,
you are, because then even though you've passed it on, you've taken it with you, and you're like, I know that, and that's a lot. It's a lot to take, isn't it? And I get that.
I've said to staff, they've got a group of 16 learners. 1 or 2 of them learners in there will be on, probably a lot more in Hartlepool. They'll be on free school meals, and they got the government's free school meals that's handed to them, and they'll come to college, even though we're only funded for 3 days a week. They'll come to college 5 days a week because it's safe, it's warm. They've got an environment where they've got a friendly face, they've got the bursary card where they can go and get fed. And I generally say to staff is, when we're all excited around about Christmas time, that we're all going to go and we're going to have a drink, going to celebrate some time together with our family. These learners don't want the college to close. These learners don't, because they're getting fed. The government gives them £2.53 a day. And I was just going to Google before I come in what you can get for £2.50 a day, but £2.53, it's not much. No. So the principal, he tops that up to £6 for the learners, because you're coming in and you got hand over that basic. What are you going to get for £2.53?
Nothing now, yeah.
So some of these learners who are in there for 3 days a week, and they're coming for them 5 days a week because they've got Wi-Fi, they mightn't have Wi-Fi at home, they've got the heating on, they get fed, and that's not happening out there. So that's what we want to try, and it's all that things that we want to try and do with that community spirit to try and get these learners they still deserve a chance. But if you look at in terms of funding wise, on the continent, funded for about 30 hours a week. So, you look at the education system in Denmark and Germany and Sweden, France, brilliant. They're getting funded, they're getting paid for 30 hours a week, so the learners are coming in and they're getting taught for that time. We're only funded for 15 hours a week. So the learners aren't getting as much time with us member of staff. I'm sorry, I digressed from the conversation question that you originally asked. But the member of staff takes all this on. All this on. They're watching out for that learner and make sure that he's coming. He's got the same jumper he's had on all week, or them trainers look like they've got holes. And we'll do things with them learners to try and get them a jumper, get them a pair of trainers, and do things discreetly to try and support them learners so they don't stand out for the peers, because they don't want to stand out in front of the peers where they've got. They're looking a bit unkempt, and we just want to try and support them as well. We support
it's like else. We had our last guest on, didn't we? Food. Amazing guest talking about food. 4.5 million kids, wasn't it, in poverty? Of like coming to, not eating, loads of stuff. It was incredible, absolutely incredible.
You take it. It's really weird, and you take all these little things, like I say, Wi-Fi
Christmas,
and
Christmas
stuff, Christmas break.
We're
and
all like, let's go out. We're going to do this. But you've
yeah.
got some students thinking, this
is the worst thing that
can happen to me. That's absolutely amazing. You've been in it a long time. Then you've seen it. 26 years. Yep, still going strong. I love the passion for it. By the way, I feel. What's the word? Enthused. Just being around your presence, John. It's nice. I love how you're out there and obviously pushing it. But what do we do to make change? That's a big question to put on you. But you must have your views on what we could do to maybe, especially around. We'll keep on apprenticeships, because that's obviously something that's. I've
answered them. Yeah. Employers in contribution,
doing more, but across the college, then in terms of getting, employment, kids into, because it's still
engagement, isn't it?
Engagement. Yeah. This piece here that we've mentioned, this bottleneck that we'll call it. How can we fix that? Like, what's your final piece?
I would like. It's not politics, but that's why I'm going to come down.
Yeah, we don't mind delving into politics.
I think that if we were funded more, then one, we can pay staff more, because staff deserve better pay, so we can compete with industries. But we have amazing staff, absolutely amazing staff in the college. I think that if policies changed, we can try and support this. You did say one or two. I can ask more than one or two.
Absolutely. Why would you just change the whole system?
Why would you just go for one? So better funding. That's got to come our way, so we can attract more staff.
Is it the level of pay then, or to staff, or is it just enough to have more staff? Do you think?
I think there is some more affluent colleges in and around. Every region has colleges who's going to pay that little bit more. People come to us because we've got an amazing reputation and we do things really, really well. We've got lots of amazing colleges up and down the country, and I'll bang the drum for every college, to be honest. But I think that if we had better cash to support our staff, better payments, so we can give these learners, what they deserve in terms of resources. As I mentioned previously, we like to get resources. If people's going to give us a couple of boilers, then we'll have a couple of boilers, because we can't just go out and go, right, we're going to have 10 boilers today. But I think that would be good. But also in terms of the employers, if the employers just invest a bit more in education, invest a bit more in training, invest a bit more in apprenticeships, then go and bang on your local college's door, go there and say, right, I've got an idea, I want to take 10 apprentices, how can I do it? It's music to our ears. But we know that some of these, as I already mentioned, some of the big boys, they don't want to invest in skills. I don't know why. But that would be my wish. Two things: invest more in education, and more employers go through the door. Go and knock on your local college. You've got lots of great colleges around here in Yorkshire. I deal with quite a few of them. Fantastic colleges. But at this moment in time, the government are looking to. There's going to be 10 hubs around the country, and we've just put forward to be a CTEC, which is a Construction Technical Education College. We want to be the North East hub. We feel that we can do that. But we're obviously going up against our relations in the North East, and that will be good. That's extra money to try and support the regions in construction delivery.
Fair enough. I love it. You've inspired me. You've got me thinking. Because that's what happened.
Oh,
mate, you know where my mind goes after having chats like this.
I'm always going to come and see me, haven't I? You're going to come and see me.
100%. Because there's loads that we can do. Everything that we're involved with it's just got me thinking a little bit more. And it's
about learning, isn't it?
It is. And we've got so much opportunity in what we're doing to bring in students, around media, around all this.
Schools.
And this is the thing, isn't it? It's I love how much much you're out there. I love your stuff with constructing excellence. Like you could just be a guy that's in the college just doing the job, but you're not. You can feel it. You can feel the energy and the passion for. And they're lucky to have. They're lucky to have you, John. They're lucky to have you. There you go. There's a plug in for everyone that watches it. But it's been a pleasure. It's actually been really a long episode, which is lovely.
Effortless.
Good
effortless,
one, though.
yeah.
I love it. Yeah. But thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate that.
Cheers, John.
I've enjoyed this.
Thank you.